I'm going to go ahead and do a share.
I hit the record button and see what happens. If I record it, then I send it to you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I keep clicking it and it says that the host has to give me the feature, so I haven't had that opportunity. I'm going to go and show, if you guys want to go on a separate tab and follow along with me and get registered in it as we're doing this, and you can see how, but it's super easy to do. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So give me a second. Let me get into share screen. And I just had my Toastmasters screen up here and now it's disappeared again. Just a second. One of the things I've learned by being a Yoodli ambassador is the art of flexibility. When you go into your Toastmasters website, I am already logged in. It's going to be using your Toastmasters account in order to do this. So what you want to do when you come in here, I'm already logged into my account. I'm going to go all the, wait, this is not the right screen. Let me log in just as I was doing. When, like I said, I was talking about the art of learning flexibility. Okay. I was logged in a second ago, and hopefully everybody's been able to, I know there were a few people that were having login issues earlier. Hopefully everybody's been able to get that resolved. This is why I wanted to be logged in advance, but come on, Toastmasters. There we go. This is the screen I want to do. So the screen that you go on the very first home page, the one where it says welcome, whatever your name is, if you go all the way down to the bottom where it says from the organization to you, you guys can click on Yoodli right here. If you guys are doing it on your own on your screen, I'll give you just a second. Mine's going to go in pretty quickly because I have registered before.
Hey, Kathy, is it different on a device like a phone or a tablet?
It's going to be pretty similar. The phone is kind of is a little bit newer application on it, but it should be pretty similar. I will say that for those of you who had, I think a lot of you haven't been in my presentations before. They keep I'm going to show you the screen as it is right this minute, but the main dashboard can have a tendency to change because this is an ongoing process with an application. So they're constantly making changes to it, but it's pretty simplified on it. But I'll give you each of the features and then we're going to practice a couple of things too. I'm also going to give you some items that we were just discussing in the VPE program about some clubs are having kind of low membership, and I'm going to show you some things that are useful in there. Now, the first off, one feature that right now I can't actively use, but you could use at your club, is you can actually bring the Yoodli robot into your meeting while you're doing your meetings, and you can get analytics. And how you would do that is in this particular screen, if you go down to where it says participants, well, it's actually on the Zoom screen. Wait a minute, I'll show that to you later. I apologize. Because I've got a little different screen right now because I'm share screening. So forget that. First off, for practicing your speaking skills, down here on the left-hand side where the bar is, you've got a couple of little icons. The one that has like gift on it is kind of like an ambassador and inviting your friends. So I'm not going to really cover that. If you want to play around with that, you're quite welcome to, but I'm going to go into more, things that are more valuable to you. So with here, this is kind of like a game console. So when you open this up, you're going to get 4 different games. And let me explain to you what each of these does. Storyteller is like, some of you may have done table topics where somebody will start a story and stop, and then you continue the story and we pass it along. Well, this is Yoodli's version of that. So when you go in, it'll give you part of the story. You give your part of the story. It will pick up words that you discussed and continue it on as if you had a live person playing this. This is great for, just getting your brain flowing, lateral thinking, articulation, and it will give you analytics on it. No filler. You can do this for up to, I think, 5 minutes and try to just continue to speak without doing filler words. As you all know, that can be a challenge for some of us. I know I'm guilty of. I know the rest of you never have trouble with a filler word ever, right? Spin of yarn, and we play. I saw that, Prince. I can only see a couple of you on the screen when we're going to share a screen, but I saw that shaking of the head. Spin of yarn is like table topics on steroids. By that, and we'll play with it. We'll play around with this a little bit later in the session. But what I mean is that you get a topic, and while we're discussing the topic, it puts additional words in it that you need to incorporate into your story, which really gets you to thinking on your feet. But you can do this in the privacy of your own home, or you can do it in your club meeting as your table topics master. But we also have a table topics, and I will be showing that to you too. And then metaphor mania is going to be one of those things like, water is to this as the, that kind of thing. Personally, my favorite are the no filler and the spin of yarn. As you can see, I have little scores up here, and what can be fun is you can actually do it, everybody getting in and participating and compete to see who gets the farthest, because you get the more points, the more you either for spin of yarn incorporating the words, or in no filler, the farther you go without getting in filler words. When you go up here to the two most important features, now there are, just to clarify, there are two versions of Yoodli. Okay, Yoodli was created by Varun, who was a speech competitor, and I believe he worked for Apple. Aisha, his co-founder, worked for Google, and she's actually a Toastmaster. That's kind of how this all got involved with being a partnership with Toastmasters. The two different presentations that you can do on the Toastmasters version are presentations for your speeches and then table topics. On the one that's open to the public, you can use that, but there is a paywall after using like more than 10 per month. So I'm going to really focus on the Toastmasters one, because this is already included in your membership with Toastmasters. If you'd like more information about the other one, it goes into like job skills, job interview skills, and it's great if you're like a speech coach, things like that. But I'm going to cover just the Toastmasters version for today. So if you go up to where there's a little camera up in the upper left hand on the blue bar, and you click on presentation, we're not going to be able to do the camera portion of this because we're in shared screen. It can't see the camera because we're sharing this with everyone. But if you notice, if you want to practice this at home for just a longer version, at the top, you can click the little arrow above the blue screen, and it will give you a topic to discuss. But you can also use this for when you just want to practice your own speech. Say you're working on table topics. No, not table topics, but you're working on your icebreaker or something like that. You can go in there, and it'll allow you to present. Then we've got table topics, same thing. And it's going to ask you whether you want to turn on the camera or not. I can't turn on the camera because we're in the share screen right now. But if you were at home, you'd be able to open this on your own computer. It's just the share screen environment doesn't allow me to do that. And again, on this with table topics, what's better, being self-employed or employed? You can click on it to get additional ones. Now, the reason I got started playing around with Yoodli last year when I was competing, I wanted to practice, and it came in really, really helpful. I'll show you some analytics here in just a moment. It came in really helpful. It shows you your filler words. It shows you your weak words. Weak words, especially if any of your speech competitors, those are words that don't really add much. Like I realized I was using the word actually a lot sometimes. I go through these phases, and it made me aware because with speech contests, as you know, every second counts on getting your message across and not going over your time limit. So it makes you aware of those things. If you go over to the little house, it shows you, you get a welcome from Matt Kinsey. We haven't updated that with the new president, but it shows you how to record your first speech. This is Aisha, one of the co-presenters, and it goes into how to record your first speech, how to practice your table topics, and then uploading the speech, that is a little different. Don't disregard that particular video. You get a message from the Yoodli founder, one of the Yoodli founders, and they've got additional information down here. Now, for those of you that want to record your meetings, there's an easy way to do this. If you look down at the bottom of your Zoom screen where it says participants, if you click on that when you're in the Zoom environment, it'll give you an invite link. You can copy that and put that into the screen right here where it says Yoodli for your team, and it will come into your meeting. Because we're in share screen right now, I'm not able to actually actively do that. But in a normal setting, in a normal meeting, you'd be able to do that. Because we're in a registration for the district, what happens is it can't get past that registration link. So we won't be able to bring it in here, but you can bring it into your meetings. I'll show you some analytics from a meeting just so you see what that would do, but it can be very helpful. Like if somebody wants to see a speech of somebody that they couldn't be at the meeting and they want to be able to check it out, they're able to do that.
Hey, Kathy, did you say
Kathy?
copy the link and just put the link in there for your meeting?
Correct.
Okay.
Kathy, do you know, I know they were looking at adding other platforms like WebEx, for example, not just Zoom. Do you know if there's any update on that?
Right now it's available, and I do know you're one of the few clubs that I know that uses WebEx. Right now,
Yeah.
this is available for Microsoft Teams, Google Meets, and Zoom.
Got it.
I'm sorry it's not on WebEx. I would really love it on WebEx because I would love it to bring it into the articulators meeting, but
Yes.
but I have not seen them working on that particular platform, and that I apologize. But for those other three, I think those are the three most used, Zoom being the primary, but I think those are the most used platforms. So I don't know. I have not heard anything on WebEx. That would be awesome, but it's not there yet. When you create these things, you'll have a library that'll be created. Let's see, what would be a good example? I'm going to go to one of our Wichita downtown meetings, and I'll show you some of the analytics. So for example, I want to show you this so you see if you bring it into your meeting there where you're able to, and I'm going to give you guys my information. If you need some more help or you want to do something one-on-one or come to one of your clubs, I'd be happy to do that. But I'm going to show you some analytics real quick. So this was one of my Wichita downtown meetings. And so it's going to do the analytics for the whole club, for all the speakers as a group. So it's going to show, did we repeat words? This can be a habit that frequently we're not aware of. And if you're speaking into the mirror at home or talking to your dog does not give you much feedback. But
Can this take place of the grammarian and the all counter?
it is. That was one of the things. The only thing is that for a lot of times the grammarian role, there's a word of the day. There's not a way to put that word of the day in there. But as far as the all counting, that would be a great place for it to be used. But there is no way to put in your word of the day. But it would be able to pick out the ums and ahs. If you had a really low attendance meeting, you might have somebody else just count the word of the day, but you could, when you have people, especially during the holidays, we do have a lot of low attendance meetings, even those that have more attendance normally, that this is something you could use for your all counter, but you won't be able to put in the word of the day. That would be one feature that would be nice. I'm putting a bug in their ear, but but it's not there yet. But so this would be for your whole club. So this particular feature would be great for the grammarian role. Listening, this one is going to be.
Does it generate a report for you as well?
Yes. If you're using it as a grammarian, what I would recommend Sorry, it's doing weird things here. If you're using this for a grammarian, what I would do is after your evaluators finish their reports, end the Yoodli and let it generate its analytics. Go ahead and have your timer give their report. And by the time that's done, the analytics should be recorded. I will give you one of the things with the Zoom. There was a Zoom update recently. When you bring this into your meeting, it now gives a message to the host that it's asking for permission to record. So the host needs to make sure to click it's okay to record. If they do not click that, it won't record your meeting and get your analytics. So that's a really key piece that came up when the Zoom update happened not too long ago. So it's important that the host adds that or it won't record. But it is if you'll end it right after the evaluators have completed, then whoever the host is that brought in the Yoodli, then do the timer report, then do the grammarian report. You'll have your analytics by then to be able to bring it in. So you won't be able to record the very end of the meeting, but you could be able to get the analytics there. So you've got all the speakers here so this would be for the whole meeting, okay? You can actually email this to people. So after the meeting, what you could do is you could share it with your club. You could either put it on whether you have a Facebook page or something like that, you can email your recordings to other people by emailing it here or putting a link up so that people, whether it's in your Facebook page, however WhatsApp, whatever, you could put it in there so they can go in and look at their own personal analytics. So you'll have the analytics for everybody. And for example, I was a speaker that particular day. So then it will break down just my analytics. So you've got your delivery, which would be speed. And if you'll notice, it goes up and down. So this part right here, I was talking really fast and then slowed down and then slowed down really slow. So you can actually break down to where we were in that. Oops. We don't need to hear me right now. Creating a page with purpose. Okay.
So question there,
Yes.
if you've got a hybrid meeting where you have some people in a single room and then people joining on the call, does it on those analytics, so it counts the room as one, obviously, because it doesn't know?
It would count the room as one. In my club meeting, I'm trying to get everybody in the room to log in on their phone because it makes it a better hybrid. A, you'll get the analytics for each individual person, and B, it makes it easier for the people in the room and at home to be able to see each other. We've got like I said, I'm still working on my club, getting my club to do that. But we have little phone holders at the back of the room and a QR code that they can, go right to the Zoom or WebEx link. But I know sometimes you guys change yours, but you can create a QR code and then people can just log in. That way, everybody can see each other better in the room in a hybrid experience. Plus, you'd also get your analytics on there too, so that you can get each individual person's analytics. And I know that in a lot of the Zoom rooms, like I visited AMC's the other day, and their camera adjusts like yours does at Articulators, but it's still hard when you're doing table topics to be able to see who all's in the room and when you're doing that. So if that's just a suggestion if you want individual analytics. Sorry, I was trying to cut myself off on my video on there so that okay, so we've got
I have a
I'm
quick
sorry.
question. Sorry to ask so many questions because
No, it's okay.
I want to start trying to use this in the meeting.
Yes.
So everybody logs in.
Yes.
So we have the lectern. So people come up to the lectern and speak. Do they have to bring their phone with them, or will the system automatically pick them up because they're logged in?
That is one where they come up to the lectern that it's going to pick it up as your main meeting. Okay. But if everybody else, if you're talking about your main speakers and the evaluators, if everybody else would log in, you'd be able to break it down a little bit better, but that is a good question. But you'd be able to break it out a little bit more. So it's going to go by, it's picking it up by camera, basically, is I guess the best way to put it. But you would, hopefully, if you brought it in, you've got the complete recording, and you should be able to skip through and be able to find your individual part of it to break out. But that is a good question. So so you've got, okay, so you got the delivery, other things it picks up when it can see the camera, like right now on the share screen, it can't see that. It will pick up your smiles. Smiling can be important when you're speaking, unless it's inappropriate for what you're talking about. It'll give you things about eye contact. Now, eye contact, it can pick up where your eyes are, you know, because a lot of times people don't even know where, like right now, I'm having a tendency to looking at my Zoom screen rather than looking at the camera, and I apologize, but we're kind of looking at the share screen. Listening, this is going to show talk time. For example, one of the reasons I have so much talk time this specific day is I was one of the speakers. Kevin must have been one of the other speakers of the Table Topics Master that day. Robert would have been involved in something that day, I'm not sure. And then these other people that had less time in a meeting perspective, they were probably doing table topics. So there's a little bit listening. Questions asked, it will go in a rundown on there. We must have been talking about Thanksgiving that day because we're talking about sweet potatoes. Monologues, that's just people talk, but that could be somebody was speaking. But then word choices, that's when the grammarian will really come in handy. It's also interesting when you look at individuals that you can look at. I'm going to pick on myself because that's just the easy way to do it. I have a tendency to start most of my sentences with the word and. I was not aware of that. One of the things that's new on here, it also talks about conciseness. This is also helpful when you're speaking, like for a speech contest, but how concise is it? It will even give you ideas on how to make it more concise if you'll click on those things. Non-inclusive language, I have a really bad habit. I don't use the word guys as a gender specific word, but in inclusivity crowds, that would be considered male, and I call just the whole group guys in the room, and that's considered non-inclusive. Weak words, actually, I mentioned earlier, actually is one of my really bad words that I use, and that's, you know, that's specific to me, so that's why it's good to have it broken down by individuals if at all possible. Let's see, let's go back over here. Anybody else have any questions? And since I see 2 in the chat, but I don't know if they're just comments. Oh, good. That is an excellent question, Michelle. Okay, as far as privacy, I know a lot of people are concerned about privacy. Now, I will tell you this was not true last time I did a presentation in our district. If you record something and it's put into your library, okay, I'm going to find something old in here that I won't mind deleting. You can go in, you should be able to do this now. This was an older one. I haven't practiced this. Okay, so you have control of your content. You can go in, this is a recording I have, love the picture. If you go up here where these little 3 dots are, you can go in and you can either download it for future, or you can go in, I'm going to go ahead and delete this right now. And we're deleting this practice session. So you have control over whatever you have in here. When they first came out with the Toastmasters one, we didn't have that access, but you can go in and delete your content. You have complete control. Now you can also go in and rename these things, like these untitled speeches this was something I was doing the other day just for practicing. And you can go up, there's a little pencil, especially when you're practicing. Come on, pencil. My pencil's not being cooperative right now.
Kathy,
Okay.
quick question
Yes.
on the deleting, etc. Does the system have a storage limitation as far as number of videos that you can store in there before you're at capacity or is there a way to set it saying after a year, go ahead and auto delete?
There is not an auto delete, but if you'll notice, you remember I said I was competing last year? I have 6 pages of videos out here from back January of last year, and these are a lot of speech contest type stuff that I just, because before they didn't have the delete option, and I just haven't gone in here and cleaned it all up. But so there is a lot of storage out there. Let me see if I can get this one to let me. Okay, so now for some reason this one's like, so we'll just put in, I guess I already have practice in here. So you can name it, especially if you want, if you're working on different presentations at the same time, go in and rename it or on there. But this, I've got 7 pages of videos on here that I just haven't gone in there. I don't know what the actual storage limit is, but I think one of the most important, we were talking about privacy, and you have control over this. It will use some of it. It'll ask you about things like with your analytics, it may use your video a little bit to improve the AI, but it's not keeping your information. You have control over taking and removing that information. As far as storage, I do not know. Most of the speeches I've done are usually 5 to 7 minutes, but as you can see, I have over 7 pages of them right now. So that's a lot more than I really needed in my database, but now I can go out and delete those.
One more question on privacy, please. Yes. Now I've had this problem with the record, we had a person who was recording the meetings, and I found a recording of me on YouTube. I don't like that. I didn't give my permission, and when they asked my permission, I said no. To put it on a club YouTube page. I saw during that meeting, I thought it was just recording our keynote speaker. I didn't realize that it was picking up the keynote speakers under me, and there's my mug. You know, I'm going all over the place because I'm a timer and secretary and helping things happen. Number one, I've requested that get taken down. Okay, that's the background. On Yoodli, you said it's doing things for the entire meeting. What of that is saved? Where is it saved? Is it saved to that individual person's Yoodli? Is it saved on like you as the main Toastmaster Yoodler?
Okay, so in my club, okay, so the other problem is that if they're putting things out on YouTube, they should be getting the club's permission to do that. That's something, I don't know if you're an officer in that club, that is something you guys need to discuss because that's a privacy issue within your club. Now, as far as you, like for my club, well, since I'm a Yoodli ambassador, I'm kind of the Yoodli person. So it's all in my personal account, and I will put it in a place that is only set up for my club, not in it. And I don't know what your YouTube for your club, if that's open to the public, if that's open just to your club members, that's a privacy issue that's club based. For me with the Yoodli, I normally I record it and it's in my personal account. I don't normally post it. If I post it to anywhere, it's a closed group. It's not, I don't post things on YouTube. That's that would be a privacy thing that would have to be a culture in your club. I heard, is that you, Rob?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm getting echo from you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, give me a second and I'll fix that. No, then I'll ask my question.
Okay, just let me know. Okay, I think we're running low on time because this, I don't have the time. Does any, hold on.
Okay, is it better?
Yes, go ahead.
So for a condition where, say you have one member that says, I don't want my face recorded, I don't want my information recorded, with Yoodli, do you have the ability, like in your club, when you tell people to log in the phone, then that person just wouldn't do that part, obviously. But are you able to say, for instance, pause Yoodli while one person speaks so that they're not picked up? If a person says, hey, I absolutely don't want to be recorded at all, but you're recording the Yoodli meeting, can you like pause it while that person is speaking and then start it again when they finished in order to keep them out of the recording.
That is not a feature that I'm aware of. I have not had anybody, and we don't record every single one of our meetings. I did actually have somebody who was disappointed I didn't record a meeting because he wanted to see somebody's speech and I'm like, my bad, I didn't get that done. But that I don't have I'm not aware of an option where you can delete or not record that, but pretty much in our club,
can't pause Yoodli?
I'm sorry?
You can't pause Yoodli?
No, I can have it, I can take it out of the room, but I not pause it.
Oh, okay.
And
I don't know that it comes up
feature
much.
I'm not aware of yet. I think we might, I need to double check. Let me get out of stop share and see if it shows me where we are on time.
Hey, Rob, just make sure that the person that is in your club is not under the witness protection program.
Yes, I am not familiar with any witness protection members in my club, but I've not had that. We haven't had that problem. Sometimes I have, because I'm coaching a club and mentoring a club, I kind of like to have it recorded if possible, so I can see their speeches when I miss it, because I like to see people do things.
Pretty rare, but I mean, like I did have one person at a district event ask me to make sure not to put their photo out with everybody else's photos on Facebook, and that's totally cool. I don't mind doing that, and that's easy for me to do as a photographer. It's a totally different technology, right? I was just asking from the Yoodli. If you did have a member, I've not had that happen yet, but you never know, right? Somebody might say, "Hey, please don't include me in the Yoodli recording."
No, that one was already fully charged.
There is Prince. Could you put you on mute? I think he's got somebody talking in the background. Oh, good. He's muted. Sorry about that. I was getting background noise. But yeah, that would be a nice feature to have. I'm not familiar with us being able to do that right now. And you need to talk with your club. I think it would be a good standard for any club that records, to make sure that everybody in the club is open to things being recorded, especially if you're putting on YouTube. You need to make sure that it's there's privacy, or just the people that have the link in your club or have access to that, because some people may not be comfortable having everybody seeing their speeches, especially, perhaps it's a contest speech. Maybe you want to keep that. I know some people are very private about who can see their contest speeches and things like that. But I saw something about ketamine. I don't know. I apologize. I think we're running out of time, so we're probably not going to get a chance to practice some of the other features on that. My, how time flies when you're having fun. But let's see. Does anybody else have any questions? And when are you going to start practicing using this? Because you've got this in the palm of your hand. Many people want to be able to work on their speaking skills. But this is a great way, when you don't have somebody to listen to your speech, or you're practicing getting ready for a contest, that you can get some quick feedback without having to worry about things. Sometimes you pick up gestures you were not aware that you were doing, and it makes you aware of those things. As far as table topics, I will tell you a fun story that happened. I used it as a table topics master in my my Wichita downtown club, just so people can get used to Yoodli. And one of the gentlemen, the question was, who is your biggest hero? And he did this amazing speech about his wife. And I realized as I was going home that it had recorded that that in Yoodli. So I emailed that to him, because I'm like, if any of you guys ever need good brownie points at home, I'm going to send those to you, because it was a really great speech that I really felt like his wife needed to hear. So I was thankful that was recorded, and I was able to break that, because the table topics record separately. So I was able to email him that specific table topic, because the different people that were involved, and we were all on camera that day. So we were able to break it up. But any other questions? I'm sorry we didn't get to practice enough in here, because we had so many great questions from all of you.
Kathy, can I ask you a question offline?
Yes. Who am I speaking to? Is that Norma?
This is Norma. Sorry.
Yes, definitely. I'll put, in case you guys want to reach out to me if you want more information, I'll put my email down at the bottom so that you can reach out. And if you want to go directly to it, not through Toastmasters, if you ever think of it, it's toastmasters.yoodli.ai. And if you ever want to play around and check out the other version of Yoodli, you just go to yoodli.ai. That is the standard version of it. It has a few more features, but after 10 Yoodlis, which is about 30 seconds or more of speaking, it will want to charge you. It has a limit on that. Whereas the Toastmasters one does not have that limit, and you've got that free with your membership. But as you can see, since it's way down at the bottom of the page, when you open up your Toastmasters website, you've probably completely missed it all this time. And it looks like our breakout room is leaving in 55 seconds. So it was great having all of you. Have a great day.
So Kathy, just real quick before you leave, my question is, I actually have a couple of teammates who have like speech impediments. I have somebody with dyslexia, I have another one that has a stuttering problem. Would Yoodli be something that they could use to help with that?
Yes, it would actually help them with their enunciation. Reach out to me on, I'll send you the contact information directly, and let's talk more, okay?
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
I don't want it to close while they're middle of conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I just, it's something that's kind of private and personal for some of my
Definitely,
members.
and I have some people with English second language that it's been helpful for them. So
Oh,
same
good
thing.
to hear. Good to hear. Okay, great. Thank you.
Not normally a person that watches